Nightwing, issue 89, Tom Taylor writing, Bruno Redondo on the art. This is the first part of the two-part crossover with Superman, Son of Kal-El. Obviously, Taylor's writing both books anyway, which made this a very natural read, at least if you've also been reading Superman. I imagine if you haven't been reading Superman, this maybe felt a bit more of a shift.
I think it probably feels really jarring. And I'm going to just throw out my biggest critique of the issue straight away. It's not as satisfying an issue as most of the Taylor issues are. While I like everything in this issue, just want to make that very clear. I enjoy it. I got to the end and went, oh, that's it, it's over.
This almost feels like a Nightwing showing up in an issue of Superman and not Superman showing up in Nightwing.
It feels more like a Superman book than it does a Nightwing issue. It does,
and it feels like I only got half an issue. And maybe that's because Nightwing was only really in a handful of pages, really. Yeah. But I feel like I didn't get an issue in Nightwing that I actually wanted, even though I enjoyed the issue.
I would agree it feels more like a Superman issue, but there's still a lot in here that I love. And at the very least, even if you do feel a little bit differently to it, it is only one issue. It's one issue, this one issue of Superman, and we're back to normal. Yeah. So
I think it very much feels like I suspect I would have enjoyed this more as just a oversized one shot. Because it feels like it feel like there's no resolution at the end of this. Like, no, you need part 2 for everything. There's nothing that makes this a single issue. Whereas, I think this just would have functioned better as an oversized one shot.
That may very well be true. But we start off with a flashback towards the end of New 52 because Nightwing's in his red outfit, and
John's
a kid,
10.
Yeah. And they're looking for someone. It turns out to be John, and it's like the part of the Justice League are looking as well, but they do this whole thing where the heat vision comes out of the cave, and Nightwing turns and says, "What do you mean? What happened?" He's scared, and a giant bat just showed up. So he pulls off his mask, and he pulls off Bruce's mask as well, and then goes in and speaks calmly to him and says, "It's good to meet him," and so on and so on. They call in Clark, and he comes in and hugs him, and there's a couple of really funny jokes here. Nightwing's poking fun at Batman and says, "Hey, he's got lollipops in his belt for kids," but they're right next to the smoke bombs, and they look very similar because they're both red. And that was an okay joke, but it was the ending of the scene where Superman says, "I don't know what I'm more worried about, you giving a smoke bomb to a child or throwing a lollipop at the Joker and then trying to disappear."
That might be the end of the Joker, that if Batman ever throws a lollipop at him trying to disappear, Joker's like, well, my job is done here. Yeah. Nothing's ever going to top this.
I love that. I was like, fine, I'll move them to another pocket.
Yeah. It was a really sweet
that
scene.
might be the strongest section of this issue, is that flashback, just because it nails... Taylor really nails all the characters.
I probably wouldn't agree with that, but I do like it a lot. And
I think I agree, and not that it's necessarily better than most of the other stuff, but that it's the only part of the issue where I felt like I got a chunk of a story rather than I got
clear and concise. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's essential because it's showing what Nightwing is like with young John, and we're going to see how different that relationship is. It sets up the themes of him looking out for John, which is something obviously Superman asked him to, because I mean this follows straight on from the events of the last Superman issue. He talks about the monster, he's talking to the hologram of Clark in the fortress, and what I actually really liked here is that John, unlike, I mean, I'm sure Clark's played, I mean, there's been a lot of Superman comics for a lot of years, but the idea that John immediately, the first time he's really using this Clark hologram that we've seen, he basically turns it off halfway through the conversation, says, "You know what, I don't want this fake version, like this is not my real father, I don't like this, I'm not using it."
Yeah, and see, that's the thing with Clark too, is like he could go talk to the fake Jor-El because he never really knew Jor-El.
He never knew anything different, whereas John can feel that this is not the same.
Right, and he needs that actual human, comfort from a figure.
Yeah. I like that because we've talked a lot about how we're showing differences between them as Superman, and I think this is not an important one, but I do think it's a really interesting little detail.
Also, Clark tended not to use Jor-El for that purpose. It was more not just a plot points, but it was to do with information and and his heritage. Whereas he had his own family for comfort, right? Whereas John's problem is Clark is his family and he's gone, right? That's why it hurts more.
Some of the stuff I loved in this issue though was the attire that both Dick and Babs are sleeping in. So
I got a good chuckle out of me.
She wakes up in a Teen Titans Go shirt, and that's pretty funny. And it's because Kal-El is there, and he's like there to seek out Nightwing because Superman had asked him, "Hey, if John needs help, seek out Dick Grayson," right? But
you dropped this fast in my direction.
Yeah, but the thing that popped me though, right, is the last panel of this scene which is when Dick stands up and we see what his pajama bottoms are. For some reason, this made me cackle with absolute laughter. I was not expecting this.
No, I didn't either. It's the timing of it, because it made me laugh out loud as well.
Yeah.
It's an old scene. It's like, you're not questioning what his pajama bottoms are. That's not like what's in your head.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. He's just in bed. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Right, but it's the way it holds it off so long in the scene, and then it just stands up and shows it just out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and because he has it's a plain black t-shirt, so it's not like it's already a branded thing, and you've seen Babs' branded thing, so you're not expecting it.
Yeah, so he stands up and it's just it's the classic yellow oval bat logo, like over and over again as his pajama bottoms
on the grey bottoms as well.
Yeah. So it's just this really goofy. Like, I love this idea that both of them just have like a drawer full of branded like stuff that's kind of silly to sleep in. It's really funny. Sure. I don't know. It got me good.
I like that also. Helix is like, well, I don't work for Superman. It's kind of it's a partnership
relation.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that. And I like that he shows up to pet the dog. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I also like Dick feeling bad he's not checked in John yet because Superman asked him to keep an eye on him, and he's like, "Oh shit, I should really go to Metropolis, so let's go do that." So no, I really like this scene quite a bit. We see in Metropolis that a superhero, was his name Dusk? What's that?
Risk.
Risk, there you go. I knew it was something that said it like that. Risk is being tracked down by 3 members of the Rising who hunt him down and kill him, and despite his superpowers, can't fight back. And then we see, and there's a lot of really great touches because I've forgotten about this, but now I'm seeing the scene. I'm looking at the scene again, where Jay pokes fun at John by saying, we're meeting our rich benefactor today," and the big dramatic turn, Lex Luthor. And he just stares at him, and he just starts pissing himself laughing. And it's one of those things where, like, this is just poking fun at like something that would normally be in a comic book. Is the reveal that Lex Luthor is like secretly behind something?
I think it feels maybe a little more awkward right now, and not in a positive way. In that is literally the current plot in Batman. Yeah, and it feels like maybe don't be taking shots at the main Batman book while that story is going on right now.
I don't think it felt like a shot to me.
No, it didn't feel like a shot to me. It just felt like Jay going like, watch me get the better of him, because he's a naive boy still.
Because this is more about Lex Luthor's tie to Superman than it is about Lex Luthor being a villain who's behind things in general.
But he is kind of behind the Rising, which is kind of funny.
That's true.
In an ironic sense, is like he worked with Bendix to do the Rising program. So yeah, but things are also with how they kill Risk by drowning him is how I know Tom Taylor wrote Wolverine. That's like the one way to kill Wolverine. Right? He still has to breathe. So I thought that was great. But Risk is a character I wasn't very familiar with, and he seems very 90s, right? Like, I heard a lot of Teen Titans. So,
I have no doubt he existed and he was in a Teen Titans book at some point, but I mean, I didn't really know him either. So, Dick's actually helped funding the Truth a little bit. Makes enough sense, I suppose, with his new current money.
Gotta throw that Alfred cash somewhere.
Yeah, but they find out about the superhero murder, and then later on we find out there was 2 others around the world at the same time, more or less. And Dick, of course, is not disguised or not fooled by the little disguise that John's wearing, so he just sort of whispers, "Superman, oh, you can hear me. Meet me in top of the building." Blah blah blah. He's like, "How'd you know it was me?" Dude, I'm familiar with these little diamond masks. Also, like, you need to change your voice if you're going to like really hide who you are. Come on now. Like, I'm an expert at this. So they go and investigate the crime scene and trace like a trail of energy. And would you believe it, the cliffhanger of the issue is that it leads back to LexCorp. And the storyline is called World's Finest Sons, which was a nice little title, I thought, when I got to that title page at the end.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, so it's a neat thing. Yeah, I mean, this is not going to be a long story, and it's mostly going to be wrapped up in the second part. And I think it is more of a Superman story in the sense that it's feel like it's tying into more what Superman's going through, and I feel like whatever comes from this Lex stuff is going to tie more into Superman going forward as well. And what this is really about is that, well, Nightwing was asked to keep an eye on him, so this is him coming in to like give him some guidance, because John does feel bad about the monster attack. He feels bad that people died, he's not doing well with that, and like, you know, probably the best thing about the next issue, and by that I mean Superman, the second part of this crossover, is probably going to be the potential heart to heart, or like the advice that Dick gives them, or when they actually get to talk about stuff. And I'm sure the plot will be fun. I'm sure it'll be fine, full of nice little moments, and it'll be entertaining because it usually is with Taylor. But that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Dick and John actually talking about what he's going through. For the page or two that we're going to get of that, I think it's probably going to be the highlight, I expect.
Probably, yeah.
So, obviously Redondo's art is very good.
Yes.
As always.
Yeah. Nothing to complain about. So, you know,
I think he's on a break after this for the next couple of issues of Nightwing.
that makes sense. I will say though, it just proves to me just how much I don't like the red Nightwing costume, because even in his art, I still don't like it. I was like, I don't know why it's there. It's a flashback. We're establishing the time period, but I still don't like it.
It was one of those. It was one of those changes to New 52 that just felt like just because.
Yeah.
You know, they were just changing it, and it makes him feel un-Nightwing. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
it's also much fatter as well, the logo, which I just don't think I like. It looks nice.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I don't quite hate it as much. I don't think. I think just the idea of an older Dick changing to red, kind of there's a logic to it in that, you know, he chose Nightwing and he chose the blue because he wanted to reject Batman right at the time. He wanted to be his own man. I think the idea of, okay, no, he's got a bit older. He's grown up a bit. He's not like got that same mentality anymore. He's much more accepting that no, he's part of the Bat family, and him embracing red again to show his history. There's a logic to there that works for me. I'm not saying I want the red suit. I'm just saying I don't hate it because I can see the kind of the pieces that make it work.
Do I think part of it is, I think just the name Nightwing makes, you know, if you think of nighttime and you think the night lights of a city, or I feel like blue just like makes me think of nighttime more than red does, so it just goes with the name Nightwing more. Maybe that's a silly correlation.
Yeah.
But
well, I also don't like how it makes the design all the way around either.
Like I said, it's not perfect. I think I could have a red logo instead of blue. I think it could still definitely be a better design than this.
Yeah, blue for life.
Yeah, I'm glad they left out the red lenses though. I remember those being on the cover.
Oh,
he had the red lenses on his Domino mask, and it's just not a good look. So.
Yeah. I had a good time with this issue though. I still think it was really good. I really liked their interactions. I think the flashback was a fun scene. I loved the Dick and Babs waking up scene. I thought that was hilarious. And yeah, I like where it's going. And I love John needing some guidance and Clark's not here. So I love that Dick is actually going to be the one that steps in and gives him that guidance. I think that's a really cool tying together of two parts of the DC universe. So I'm all about it. Matt, what are you giving Nightwing?
I'm gonna give this an 8.
All right, Connor.
I think I'm just going to give it a 7, which might be the lowest I've rated an issue in Nightwing, unless maybe I did that with some of the Fear State issues. But yeah, just I like everything in it, but just I think I don't like it as much as a Nightwing issue. I didn't get quite enough from it as this is my issue for the month.
I'm going 8.5. I would agree it's more of an issue of Superman Son of Kal-El than it is an issue of Nightwing, but I would also say it's one of the best issues of Superman Son of Kal-El. I dug it.